Association of Former Students Young Alumni Advisory Council. In 2018, he married his Aggie sweetheart, Amelia, class of 2015, and last year they welcomed their first child, Grace, into the world. He currently lives in Houston and works for Bridgeway Capital Management. Please give a warm welcome to Drew Nelson.
Howdy, Ags.
Howdy.
I wanted to start off by saying what a tremendous honor it is to be asked to be your muster speaker tonight. I've been involved with various Texas A&M things for a long time now, but this marks the first time that I've been asked to be a muster speaker. As she just said, I live in Houston currently, but I grew up in Bryan, and there I was exposed to all things Texas A&M from a very early age. Growing up in a college town, there's not much else to do except what the college kids do, which to me that meant going to all of the Aggie athletic events. And that kind of started a lifelong passion for me, which eventually led to me being elected to serve as a senior yell leader my senior year. Like a lot of you, the biggest thing I took from A&M was the incredible connections that I made, including my wife Amelia, class of 15, who is here tonight. We have an 11-month-old daughter, once again, she just said, Grace. She's class of 2043. She's back home, but as you can tell, we are excited for her to start her stint at A&M in a few years. The connections that we make at A&M are deepened every year by this great muster tradition, and I am thrilled to be a part of your ceremony tonight. Additionally, I could not be more thrilled that my first time to be a muster speaker is taking place on a World War II aircraft carrier. We are one of over 300 musters going on worldwide tonight, but I would guess we are likely the only one taking place on a decommissioned aircraft carrier. In terms of tying in history, this, in many ways, is actually the perfect place for Aggie Muster. Many of you, I'm sure, know well the history of Aggie Muster, and that it had tremendous growth and deepening and solidifying of its meaning during World War II. From France to Germany to Italy to Japan, and of course Corregidor, and all the parts of the world where Aggies served in World War II, there were Aggie musters held. There's an article about a World War II muster in the Dallas Morning News from 1944, whose headline reads, "Nazi gunfire fails to drown Aggie chance of goodbye to Texas University in Italy." If that does not motivate you, I don't know what will. And of course, there's the incredible bravery of the Aggies who defended the Philippine island of Corregidor from the Japanese in World War II, who had their own version of muster to see which Aggies were still there on the island while receiving constant shelling from the Japanese. The story of the Corregidor muster helped to brighten the spirits of the country at war and became a rallying point for Aggies everywhere. Following the war, in 1946, General Dwight D. Eisenhower was the campus muster speaker, which was held that year at Cottle Field. He honored the bravery of the over 20,000 Aggies that served in the conflict, including the 953 that gave their lives to defend America. The tradition of muster is deeply intertwined with war. The word muster itself is of course a military term, meaning the assembly of troops. Our tradition of muster began as a way to honor the bravery of the 800 early Texans at the Battle of San Jacinto on April 21st, 1836. These Texans fended off and defeated a Mexican army of over 1,500 soldiers and paved the way for Texas to gain its independence. Tonight, we still honor these brave men. Without Texas's independence being won that day, there likely would have never been a Texas A&M. And along with that, there would not have been these great connections that we all have made. All the wonderful former students throughout time who have changed the world would have received their education elsewhere, and who knows where that might have led. In addition to celebrating Texas's Independence Day, and remembering all Aggies who have served and sacrificed during all of our nation's wars since the school's founding, muster is also a time to celebrate and reinvigorate all the great things about being a Texas Aggie. It's an opportunity to remember our great times as a student, think of our friends, and form new bonds and strengthen old bonds within our communities. The Aggie Network is truly the strongest alumni network in the world. It is so strong that I can come here to Corpus Christi knowing very few people on this ship, but leave feeling like I attended a family dinner. At a school overflowing with traditions, muster is the number one. And the final meaning of muster, and perhaps the most known and visible, is the remembrance of former students that have passed away in the past year. One of the neatest aspects of being an Aggie is that when we die, we know we will be remembered at a ceremony just like this one. In March of 2014, during my graduate year at A&M, my father, Ken Nelson, class of 1980, passed away unexpectedly. My dad was a very proud graduate of Texas A&M, and he helped to install the love and passion I still carry with me for the school. Because I was a current student at the time, my father's name was called at the campus muster just a few weeks after his passing, and my family and I were on the floor of Reed Arena to light his candle and say here. That experience really helped me to understand how important and impactful muster is. To those friends and family members of fallen Aggies that are here tonight to celebrate their loved ones, I sympathize with you for your loss. I sincerely hope that this ceremony gives you a sense of uplifting in remembering the person that you love. There are over 500,000 former students, and each of them, including those we honor tonight, have contributed to the legacy of greatness of Texas A&M. The issues of the world are solved by Texas Aggies. Engineering, war and peace, agriculture, business, politics, finance, energy. Everything in this world is touched by Aggies. The world, the country, and certainly the great state of Texas is made better by the graduates of Texas A&M. And we should all be proud to be a part of this in our own ways. There's a constant discussion I hear about how Texas A&M is changing and whether this is a good or a bad thing. It certainly is changing, and it even changed a lot just while I was in school. My first semester in 2009, there were just under 49,000 students. By my last fall semester, there were over 53,000. And as of this fall 2021, there were 73,180 students enrolled. My class also experienced the move to the SEC and the beginning of the temporary end to the rivalry with TU and a brand new MSC. I've only been out for 8 years, but when I go back to campus, I see buildings that I did not even know existed, a brand new and a bigger Powell Field, and lots of traffic from the tens of thousands of extra students. So yes, A&M has certainly changed, and changing will always be part of a school that is this big. While I do believe firmly that it is appropriate to have debates on which changes are good and bad, and to express these feelings to those in charge, I'm not here to do that tonight. What I will say in regards to changes is that it is my opinion that despite the enormous growth of Texas A&M, we've done a remarkable job of upholding the core values within students and former students. Excellence, integrity, loyalty, respect, and selfless service. Texas A&M has continued a very long-standing tradition of producing outstanding leaders with character, which is something that is sorely needed in this world. The biggest change I see is that the university now does this on over 70,000 plus students, which will keep making the world more maroon. So yes, it's clear that the world is a better place with more Aggies in it. Whether it's General Rudder leading the Rangers on D-Day, or 8 brave Medal of Honor recipients, or George P. Mitchell and his development of fracking, or 4 current Fortune 500 CEOs, or any number of Aggies that are leading in their chosen field, the world is a better place with Aggies living to their full potential. The company I work for is called Bridgeway Capital Management. We are in the investment management industry and run several mutual funds. Investment management is an industry that requires the utmost integrity, but many companies in the industry have not always lived up to the ideals that are expected. And as a result, there is a largely negative perception of the industry in regards to greed and lack of morals. I am proud to say that I work for a company that is truly different in that regard. Since our founding nearly 30 years ago, we've been committed to donating 50% of what we earn as a company, from providing great service to our clients to making a positive impact in the world. This is an approach that we like to call relational investing, which we define as combining results for investors with returns for humanity. It's included in our mission statement that we seek a world without genocide. This is not just a marketing talking point for us or a trendy investment philosophy. It is the core mission that we work towards. I've been working with Bridgeway for 3 years now, and it's really transformed the way that I see things. It often goes relatively unreported here in America, but the amount of human rights abuses across the world at any given time is absolutely staggering. Our charitable mission looks to help that in a unique way. Our focus as a business is still to be the best fiduciary of client money that we can be, but it's what we do in turn with our profits that sets us apart and allows me to go into work every day with a bigger purpose. I share all this not to promote our business or to claim some kind of moral superiority in what we do. It is to point out that even in an industry as competitive and cutthroat as mine, there is a path of higher purpose. I also share because, and perhaps you may have already figured this one out, we are led by another fighting Texas Aggie that is making a difference in this world, our president and CEO. Her name is Tamara Philippe. She's class of 1995. The point being, once again, Aggie leadership is a great thing for the world. I also say all this to challenge you. What if you could change your mindset from being one of acquiring to being one that thinks, the more I earn and acquire, the more I can give and help? If that mindset is adopted, then you can become a force for good. Your everyday work becomes more meaningful, and you truly commit to the Aggie core value of selfless service. And in the spirit of generosity, I would be remiss not to encourage you to give back to Texas A&M, if it's not something you already do. I would think that many of you that are attending muster do already give to the Association of Former Students or the 12th Man Foundation, or both. But did you know that only about 12% of former students actually give back every year? I am confident that this number can be increased dramatically. The percentage of former students that give back has an impact on college rankings, and of course the dollars donated provide support for so many of the programs and traditions that make A&M the special place that it is, including muster. For several years now, Amelia and I have found great joy in giving back to Texas A&M through the Century Club at the Association of Former Students and the annual fund of the 12th Man Foundation. If you have a passion for the success of Texas A&M, I encourage you to take a look at the website for both of these great organizations and get involved, whether by giving money or by volunteering. To close, I want to reiterate my strong feelings that Texas A&M is truly the most special university in the world. It is the people and traditions that make this possible. The people and the traditions form the Aggie spirit. Whatever is to come in the future for this world, Texas A&M will be at the center of it. And as long as we continue to celebrate muster every April 21st, it will remain the special place that we know and love. Thank you, and God bless the great state of Texas.